All right. So now we have another wonderful, very, very special guest on the channel, Mr. Geoffrey Moore, a pitcher
Sir,
at what's the school you're at now?
Lackawanna College.
Lackawanna College,
Yes.
out in Western Pennsylvania or Eastern?
Western Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Western Pennsylvania. So they're suffering more from the weather than we are out here in
Yes.
Denver. So,
Yes.
so Jeff, tell the viewers a little bit, like, your journey and what got you started working with me in the program.
Well, out of high school, didn't really throw much. Had injuries, and COVID kind of ruined a lot of my time. And then senior year, just didn't get much playing time. Kind of decided to be done with baseball after that, playing wise. And so I coached for about a year and a half, 2 years. And I was coaching one of my teams, and I was playing catch with them. And I missed it too much, and everyone else I talked to, I was too young to miss it that much and not try. So I think in about March of last year, Caden put me on to fast, and then I showed up, and then we went from there, and it's been a journey ever since.
So before starting with the program, working with me at Fast, working with me on all, what do you think were like just your biggest disappointments or frustrations with your performance or the training you had prior?
I have very bright glimpses. I played with Slammers. That was my club team, and I had very, very bright glimpses. I would pitch very well, and then, I was hitting at the time and hit awful, and that kind of brought my confidence down as well. And then high school came around, and then I had my elbow surgery, and it's been a road back ever since that. And then senior year, didn't get much playing time, so I would say that it was the inconsistency in my work. I would say I have a much better work ethic now, and actually wanting it. And I always look back at times with Slammers in senior year, like, man, if I just got this amount a day and lifted a little, where could I be now? I've seen how much I've gotten in a year, and it's killing me to know, like, man, if I'd have done this for the 3 years now, where could I have been?
Can you describe maybe a specific moment where you really kind of doubted what, obviously now where you are, like, obviously where we started, but like where there was that sense of doubt that you had where, like, is this really worth going for? Or is, being a coach or just going off to school and studying whatever, not actually playing baseball? Like, where was like moments that maybe crept into your head if they did?
I would say senior year, when I didn't get much playing time. It was a lot of, I felt like I deserved it, but then I also saw a lot of kids put in a lot more work than me, and I got what I deserved in the end. And then I would say also when I joined Fast, I was still coaching at the time. It was a lot. It was, man, yeah, I'm doing good with these kids and coaching, but yeah, I also love the training and I love throwing. It was a grind, and I would definitely say those are the two biggest moments when that really creeped in of, like, especially when I was coaching in at Fast, I had the split road of, I got one thing here, I got one thing here, I got to pick one, and I kind of went all in on, around summertime, I went all in on trying to go somewhere for baseball.
Yeah. So when you were deciding where to train, when you kind of made this decision, like, I really want to go for this, what were the other options that you were considering, and, why did you end up choosing me and us over everything else? And I mean, you had been in a specific system for a long time.
Yeah,
And
I've been Slammers for quite a few years now. I felt like I was coaching for Slammers. It didn't feel right to take lessons from Slammers too. It just felt something felt weird about it. Of, I'm gonna coach my kids, and then 20 minutes later after practice, I'm gonna go take lessons from one of the other coaches. Yeah, like, the sense of that felt weird, especially since at the time I thought that coaching was going to be my place there for the time being. And then I hung out with my good buddy Caden, and I'd known about Fast a little bit from him telling me his training in the off season. And I discussed with him. He was a big part of me getting back. I discussed with him of like I still want it. Like I can't hang it up yet. And he told me he trained that fast. And then I looked it up a little bit, did a little research, and it was kind of in my area, so that was good.
It helps.
Yeah, and then reached out, got back from visiting him, and went to go visit Fast, and then it was pedal to the metal ever since.
Were you skeptical at first, like when you kind of what first started when you and I first started working together? Was there an initial skepticism, like is this actually going to be the thing that helps me, gets me over the hump? Because I mean, it's like that, like it's with every kid, right? Especially here, like there's 1,000 fucking pitching coaches here in the state.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, what's gonna separate these guys from all the other guys that do this?
When I really liked the facility when I first walked in, the old facility. I really loved it when I first walked in. It was just open, huge. The dogs sold it for me. There were all 4 of them.
We got all the dogs in here.
Yes, but it was. I didn't really have any doubt about whether that was the place or not. I was more so. My focus was on getting where I need to be and getting better. I can't say I was too worried about it not working out or that not being the right place. It came highly recommended from Caden, and he's a voice in my corner. So I tried. Once he recommended that, I trusted it wholeheartedly and went with it.
So was it more, it's not a skepticism with the facility or with our training program, it was more of a skepticism of, does it work for you?
Yeah, if I could do it.
What changed your mind on, does this work, that this does work for you? Like, what was the moment that like, oh, this is something that is going to help me?
I think I went into it wanting it, but I would say the moment that, I think when we first started doing pull downs in my when we got into velocity after those first few month humps of when it was, all right, it's go time. That's when I really started seeing all that.
Mm-hmm. What was like it's like oh, I am seeing this actual progress that I had not seen before.
When I hit 80 on one of the pull downs I did, when I hit 80, that was, I'd never touched, like I'd never gone on the gun much before. Mm-hmm. And then it was one of the days I came in to throw with Caden over the summer. You weren't there, and I just did my normal program. I hopped on the mound, just, sure, laughs, and I like hit 77, 78. And I was like, from my first time I came in to throw with you, I barely hit 73, 74.
Right.
And it was like, wow, like I saw the progress. And that really helped me.
So how do you think that this program specifically helped you overcome the struggles that we talked about a little bit earlier?
I'd say you pushed me.
Yeah.
Pushed me very much so past my limits. The program I was set on, the lifting, set me up very nicely. I enjoyed it. Just everything about, I loved everything about the ramp up and then the actual throwing, and then after the throwing we got off the mound and then would do some command and work on some pitch. When I first got there, yeah, of course I wanted it to be instant, like I want to throw hard now. So it kind of sucked a little bit here and that's going to be like 6-7 months before everything starts clicking into place. Mm-hmm. And it really was 6 or 7 months until everything kind of started first clicking into place.
Well, keep going. Go for it.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. So I was just like, I was talking another earlier interview I did with Sam Kaufman, that kid that goes to Umpqua, and he talks about his favorite quote is that one about like having something worth showing instead of going to go be seen.
The Roy Holiday one.
No, that's the other one. You're on the right. You're the one I'm thinking of though. Is that like you kind of have to tinker with something or go along with it and follow it and trust the process will eventually click for you, and that's kind of the way you see it. It took you a little bit longer than maybe we would have liked, but eventually
that's what I hoped for. Yeah,
but it did. Once it did, it's like, oh, now I know where I'm going with this, and I know where the path now is leading. It was a struggle to like really be convinced that the path you're on was the right one.
Yes.
But then there go into that. Like, what was that moment, or what was that day, or that activity that we did that you're just like, okay, I am on the right path.
I had glimpses of it when we would, I think the first time I fully felt it was we were doing pull downs, and I had hit like 82 with the normal ball, and I had grabbed like a 4-ounce ball, and I had hit like 86 or 87. I was overjoyed. Like, I think that was the first time I felt like everything wash over me of like, this was right. This is the moment. That's kind of when it all clicked. Of course, it took a little time for that to translate to the mound to where I could actually do that. But I always sucked at pull downs. Well, I'm pretty sure I always will. And having hit a number like that really sent me through the roof.
Can you describe then what is the biggest difference between when you first started coming in versus when you obviously ended up leaving for Lackawanna? Like, how much different of a player, how much different of a person are you compared to when you first started versus and then when you left for the fall?
I think it all started mentally. When I got there, I was still had that same mindset I had in high school. Like, this is gonna happen now, and it was very much so the opposite. We took it very slow, but it was needed, and it was a lot mental, because the strength came in the weight room. It got a little bigger, you know, that was naturally gonna happen, but it was mentally, that was the biggest challenge for me. I struggle with talking down on myself. I'll say it under my breath or in my head on the mound or something. It's like just demeaning myself, miss a pitch or walk 2 guys in a row, you know, just down the rabbit hole. And that was a big part of it mentally. I'd come in week after week and not see anything progress-wise. And it was very hard for me not to just collapse on myself. Like, you know, what are you doing here? Like, why are you... It was a struggle to push through and come in almost every day to, you know, at that point, not see anything.
So you talk about that 86 on the 4-ounce ball that you had on the pull down. What are some other things, or like maybe some, like the clearest proof that everything that you did and all the work that we put in was well worth it, do you think?
Last week we did lives. I hit 83 off the mound. That was me rocking about 80-90%. I was told not to go 100%, and it was first time seeing batters in 6-7 months. So I rocked an 83, and my bicep is still paying the price for it right now. But I think right before I left this winter break, right before I left to come back, my first pen back with you, I had thrown was like 8 or 9 79s, was sitting 78, 79.
Yeah.
And I was overhyped, like, you know,
just to be sitting at that level.
I sat there like, well, 6 months ago I barely hit 73, 74. And then over the next 3 or 4 weeks, I proceeded to maybe hit 1 or 2 79s, and that was crushing to me. I'm like, I feel like I'm working in the opposite way. And then our second to last pen, the very last pitch I threw was 80, and then TrackMan autocorrected to 79.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And when that happened, I was upset in the moment, but then I was like, I got nothing else to lose, you know. I know in my heart I hit it. I'm gonna hit it, so I went out that next pin and went all out and hit the first 80, and then hit 81 higher, and it felt amazing to just not care, and then just go all out and just throw well. And then I tried to bring that same mindset to lives, our first lives back last week, and it worked out very well.
I mean, you hit it 83, not even trying.
I did, yes. Yes.
So what like, take that, and how do you think those results that you're now seeing compare to what you thought was possible when you started?
I think they coincide very well with what I first thought was, like, when I came here. Of my main goal was to always just see an 8 on that gun, and then now that I have it's to see that number trickle up and up and up. Yeah, I'm in season. I'm on the mound. I want to see what I can hit this season. I'm out here with a bunch of guys that I love. I gotta prove to them that when I get on that mound, I'm good to go. And that's when I came here. That was my goal, was, get to a team and do something for them. Yeah.
Is there something that you can do now that you thought was impossible before?
Hit an 80. That's for sure. I mean, I never even got close a year ago. I would say mentally, I've just changed differently. I would say pick myself up while I'm pitching.
Yeah.
That had always been my entire identity while pitching. Was I was super calm out there, super calm in the dugout, super calm after when people are around, but when I'm by myself, I'm very much so down on myself. And I had to change that mentally of, I enjoy being super calm out there and super calm in the dugout. Maybe a little too calm at points where I could amp myself up a little more.
Mm.
But just changed, like, if I make a bad pitch, I got to think about the next pitch. I can't dwell on that one. It's already in the catcher's mitt. It's coming back to me. I can't change it. I'm already behind. I'm behind in the count. Thanks to that pitch, I can't get further behind. It's a game with. I know you and I have talked about it. It's a game within a game within a game. It's There's 4 different battles going on at once, and I can't get caught up on the one that I just missed. I gotta attack the next one.
Right. So that, moving into just the program, back to the program as well, what made this program, everything that we have done here at the new facility, at the old facility when you started, what makes this stand out above all the other programs that you had been a part of?
I think just my specific trainer is you, but when there's days you're not there or you're late or I'm late or something, there's other people in the facility to help pick up. Like there was quite a few times where I was there and you were, and Jason was there to help pick me up, and everyone else was there, do this. Everyone is there to help that person get better and get out and go somewhere they want to go. And I really I love places like that just pick everybody up. And looking back on it, I see it now that, sometimes when I absolutely hated showing up, but it was worth it in the long run of every day was a lesson, and every day I needed that.
What was the biggest thing you learned from Jason, the former big leaguer?
Throw hard. He kind of gave me a little bit of advice on the effortless throw, of like sometimes putting too much effort into a throw can hurt it, and you just gotta be calm and just effortless. And I try and take that into a lot of things now, of just be calm and effortlessly throw it, and everything else will come. I've been playing baseball for a good portion of my life now, and I've got the mechanics down. I mean, it's all just in my brain, so I've got to just let it flow. My body knows what to do.
What would you say, like, how did the personalized training or maybe the advanced technology that we utilize here, like the TrackMan or the video breakdowns that we do, the movement screens and stuff like that that we do, what was that? How did that impact your progress, you feel?
I loved it. I never had anything like that before, besides a buddy taking a video of one throw of mine, and I'm 60 feet away and you can't even see my face. I love the TrackMan. I love the video taking. It allows me to see. It allows me to learn myself and grow and see where my flaws are. And then when you talk to me, be like, "Hey, this is what I see," I can see that in the video myself and understand and work on it, do drills on it. I love the TrackMan. As I've thrown faster, I love the TrackMan. I've understood it more. The vert, I really enjoy reading all those readings on my pitches and seeing what I can tweak just a little bit, seeing how my thumb placement, like an inch or two, changes something completely drastic on my fastball or slider. I love the TrackMan for helping me with my changeup. That's always been my struggle pitch, and it's probably my best pitch now that I'm out here. I would say the videos are the biggest thing for me. I love watching myself pitch, even when I do awful. I can always see minor things that I want to adjust, and then I take that into the next throwing session.
How do you feel this program has changed you beyond just the game of baseball, like even as a person or in life? Like, what are some of the lessons you've learned that you can take away that go beyond the game?
See my work ethic. Like I said, coming in, I was very, lackadaisical, like just go with the flow. And now I'd say I'm a little more, I got to get this done. I got things to do. I got things to prove to my family and people, and can't let people down. And I would say that is all the fast of that mindset of it's game time. I got to have that mentality, and it's time to go.
Are there any changes you've noticed in your approaches to like your confidence on the mound or a leadership aspect or even just how you approach challenges that you haven't seen before?
Very much so. I would say now that I'm, once I get those first pitch jitters out, I'm very, very calm and very, this is where I want to throw it. And I would say that I've had that calmness seep over into my real life as well with classwork, family and friends, solving hard situations, staying a little calmer. All that has translated to the mound, which translates to my real life as well.
What do you feel is the best feedback you've gotten from a coach or a teammate since you started the program or been in the program? I'd say the biggest one is getting that offer to go play when we had no idea if that was going to happen. We posted that one video of you on Twitter. It does get some good traction. I got like 5 or 6 coaches that were interested in you.
Yeah.
Where probably a week before that, you was like where the moments like we talked about where you're a little bit down in the dumps a little bit.
Probably about a week before that. I don't think I talked about it to anyone, but I was thinking about myself of like, I just put in 6-7 months of like intensely hard work, and I'm like, man, and I'm just gonna go back to coaching. And I was a little crushed by that. And then I was honestly, I was really still deciding if I wanted to go to college. I hadn't done well in high school, grade wise, and I was very nervous about leaving my family and having to perform in school when I had just spent 4 years of proving to myself I can't do it. But then I talked with my mom, and she was like, well, she was like, we just spent all this money. You're not going to throw this pen. And I was like, yes, ma'am. So then that really convinced me of like, let's just throw it and see what happens. And then, it's probably about a day later. It was much faster than I was expecting that Lackawanna reached out. And I took probably like a day to decide. I called my buddy Kate, and I was like, this is what I've worked for, like even if I don't get that much playing time there, I'm going to improve. And this is what I just spent half a year working on. So, that once I got that offer, once they called, that made it pretty easy for me to decide.
Dude, that's a cool story. You didn't tell me that part.
I was very, very close to not accepting it.
Well, good. And now look where we are.
Yes, very glad I did. Yes.
All right, so beyond the 83 that you hit the other day in the Live ABs, like, you went through an entire fall. You're getting ready to start off a college spring season. Like, who would have thought we'd be saying that a year ago, about a year ago, right? What are there specific moments that you sit here and go like, all right, yeah, like I'm in a specific game moment and I know that I've prepared and I know I can, I'm in a tough moment here in the game. Like, a lot of high leverage guy in scoring position and like 1 out, but I know that through all my training, I'm ready for this. Is there a specific moment that kind of reflects that?
I think in the fall we had a game. I don't remember the score. I'm not good at schools out here. There's so many. But we had a game. It was against the D2 national champions, and they very much so like to steal and go on first move. That was very tough for me. I like to take my time, and I was rushed with everything. And my first 3 batters, I think I walked them. I was rushing myself, and it was just. And then my coach came out to talk to me, and I settled down, and I had a little conversation with myself of like, you gotta play your game while playing this game. So I had slowed everything down while almost keeping my body tempo up, and that had worked out very well for me. And I try to take that into every game. But I would say that was the biggest challenge, and then reminding myself of I know I can do this. Take a second and go at them.
Nice, nice. All right, so I got two more things for you. So if you were to surmise all of the training we've done prior to you
Okay.
obviously going out to school, you know, if you could sum up one moment that you realized that all of this was worth it, all of this paid off, all the, you know, everything that you did was is just worth it, right? What is that one moment that just everything clicked?
I think when I woke up, saw I had a text from you that a very good JUCO had reached out to me. Um, and then it all just took off from there. I would say that's the moment that I mean I woke up and I was ecstatic, ran upstairs, Mom, Dad, look, and it was all worth it in that moment.
So, all right. Now, closing this out, if there's a pitcher that's watching this on YouTube or is going to watch it on Instagram, wherever they see it, and they're not signed up into the program, what do you think they're missing out on the most?
What you say the leadership they find out fast. I mean, between you and Jason and everyone else there's no lack of experience. Everyone's got something to offer, and all of it's valuable. I don't think there's been one day I haven't taken anything away from Fast. Fast was definitely the best decision I've made of choosing to go there. It's a great community of people. I've met tons of friends there as well. I don't regret anything about that.
What would you say to the kid that's right is like right on the like basically what you were right before, and then like if you could be that kid's Caden, what would you say?
Go do it. You won't regret going there. It'll 100% pay off.
So awesome. Jeffrey, thank you for so much for doing that. This is really cool. I mean, I actually I learned some things. You almost had me on the brink of tears there, breaking a tear there at that one moment there. So thank you so much for doing this. I really
Yeah, thank
appreciate
you.
you taking the time to do
course.
this. So